Hey, this is Zach Peak.
Hey, this is Pat Dorian.
Hey, this is Drew Ron.
It's Anthony Video.
You're listening to the Talking Birdie podcast.
Fly ball left field. Nate McLouth is there. And the magical season of the Baltimore Orioles continues.
Ball and 2 strikes on Goins. Ground ball to first. There's Pierce. And the Orioles are champions of the AL East.
And everybody knows he's ready to fire on the first one. Bases loaded. Young swings, line drive. That is down and to the wall. Cruz is in. Pierce is in. Party around third. He's going to try to score. And safe. The Orioles have the lead.
With the first selection of the 2019 MLB Draft, the Baltimore Orioles select Adley Rutschman, a catcher from Oregon State University.
Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the Talking Birdie podcast. This is the big 3-0, episode 30. Boys, how are you doing today?
Ryan, doing good. Not a lot going on recently, I guess. I don't know, just good energy. So opening day is coming, the 5-hour trip to Frederick and then to Baltimore for opening day. Very much on the way. Looking forward to it. Brad, how you doing?
Man, ran into a little issue tonight that I need to vent about. So every day, I'm a big Dunkin' guy. Love my Dunkin' coffee. Went to get some after dinner.
Sponsored.
But yeah, exactly. I know the Dunkin' CEO is listening in right now, so we're not getting paid yet, but that's further down the line. Basically, I don't normally ask for a donut because I'm trying to eat healthy, but I've been good the last couple of days, so I tried to reward myself, and they gave me an extra one for no charge, and I didn't want that, man. Like, I don't have the willpower to lay off of both of them. Like, you put 2 donuts in my bag, I'm going to eat them, but I'm trying to, I just want to give myself a little reward, and they overpowered me. So now, like, I didn't stay within my budget for the day, calorie-wise, and it's got me in a bad mood, man. Am I being unreasonable right now?
Dude, this guy texted the group chat like 5 minutes before we got in here, talking about how he needs to air something and vent about something, and never in my wildest fucking dreams did I expect it to be Brad complaining about receiving an extra donut for no charge.
I mean, I only wanted one, man. I only wanted one. There was another time I went to get a personal pizza from Pizza Hut, and they said, "Oh, you want to get one of those baked brownies with it?" And I'm thinking, "Oh, it's probably just like a single serving brownie. That's cool, right?" And it's this giant thing with like 9 of them. So I come home, I'm horrified. I'm like, "Oh my God." I say to my roommate, I'm like, "Mike, you want some of this?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll have one." I'm like, "All right, cool." No, like, help me keep eating it, because otherwise it's gonna be right in front of my face, and I'm just gonna devour the whole fucking thing. He's like, "Oh, I'll eat one for you, man." And I texted my other roommate. I'm like, "Scott, you want some of this brownie? Because I really don't want to eat all of it, but like, I have zero willpower." And he was asleep, so he didn't respond. And by the next morning, Mike had eaten one, and I ate 8 slices of brownie because I couldn't control myself. So,
Oh no!
Yeah. See, I'm gonna take the side of Duncan on this, because if you were trying to eat healthy, you just wouldn't have got a donut in the first place.
I know, but I usually don't. Sometimes you have to, you've been doing well lately, and you just want to reward yourself a little bit. I mean, it was just, I don't know, man.
You're being tested. Your test was either you throw it out the window or you eat it, and you failed.
I failed. So,
as the resident fat guy of this podcast, I've never been upset about receiving an extra donut. So,
well, I wish you were here with me, buddy. I would have given you that extra donut. I texted my roommate as soon as I got it, who he tells people the story of me getting the brownie all the time and how distraught I was over it. And he was like, I'm stuffed, man, but thanks. And then I sent him back a text of this, or with a gif of this little girl crying, and he thought it was hilarious because that's totally how I was feeling. And then I just devoured both of these maple donuts right on the spot.
Ooh,
And they
you're a
were
maple
pretty-
donut
and
guy,
they-
huh?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah,
It was delicious.
it's good stuff.
Like I'm the kind of guy who I go grocery shopping every day because I'll just get what I want to eat that day. If I buy if I buy my shit in advance, I'm just gonna eat it all way too fast.
Mhm.
No planning.
Nope. Yeah, whatever
Yeah.
whatever I'm feeling that day. I mean, I'm right down the street from the grocery store. Just run up, grab what I want, and that's it.
Whenever
So-
my wife and I cook, it's always like that. I'll just stop and get like what we're gonna make for that night on the way home. Never get that shit in advance because for us, we just forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it always just ends up going to waste if we buy too much in advance. So we just buy it.
It just
As we
hurts
need
to
it.
check out for like $200 sometimes too. It's like I don't really feel like dropping all that right now.
Yeah.
I'll just get tonight's meal.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
too. That too.
for
Groceries
sure.
are really expensive.
Brad, one more final note on your story. And this is a pretty common tale, but when you ask for like a small milkshake from McDonald's and they're like, "Oh, we accidentally used a large cup. Here you go." And it's like, now I'm going to shit my brains out and I'm going to feel awful the rest of the evening because you decided to use a large cup, because large milkshakes were not meant to be consumed from McDonald's. Like rare occasions, but if you only ask for a small and they double upsize you, oh.
See, Josh, at first you're siding with Duncan, and now it feels like you're warming up to my side at least a little bit.
I understand
At
your
least
side.
a little bit.
No one's gonna take, like, how are you gonna measure out a small milkshake out of that large cup and then you're just gonna
Exactly.
throw it out the window? That's too much.
Exactly. So I'm a victim. That's what we're concluding.
You're a victim. This is
There we
for
go.
sure. But I don't blame Duncan.
Okay. Well, now we got that out of the way.
Ryan,
Ryan,
Donut's good because I've never had a Dunkin' Donut. Like I grew up around Tim Hortons and I just always go there.
oh, Tim Hortons guy. Yeah, I should have known that. Yeah, since you're up in Michigan. I mean, I know they're all over the place in Canada, but I guess they do stretch into those northern states a little bit. too.
So Michigan's full of them. Like literally one every like 10 miles for a lot of areas. But in Ohio, there's like a couple in Toledo, there's one in Akron, and there's none in Northeast Ohio. So I cannot get them unless I get home. Unless I go home. But New
That's
York's
crazy.
littered with them. Pennsylvania's got a ton of them. I don't get it.
I remember, I mean, I have family on my mom's side up in Toronto. So they were on literally every corner when I was up there. It's crazy. But I wasn't even a coffee drinker when I was up there. I was a little younger. Coffee drinking, something I got into within the last 7 or 8 years or so. So I like Dunkin's coffee. Yeah, the donuts are good, objectively speaking, but I usually don't get them. In fact, I'm usually good enough when people bring donuts into work. I'm like, oh, stay away. But today I was like, all right, it's one. One's not going to kill me. But then they gave me two. Two might actually kill me.
It may kill you.
Yeah.
Anybody who was listening has already turned this podcast off.
I think this is a riveting debate we're having right now. So once this episode comes out, maybe we'll need to make a poll. We'll see.
This is our water cooler talk.
Uh-huh.
And you get into the real topics.
Mm-hmm.
Business.
I think there will be some people siding with you, Brad.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
But
Victim of this corporate greed where they have to make America dumb and slow and fat. That's what they're doing to you, Brad. You're a victim. I completely flip sides.
This is all. Yeah, this is all like a political conspiracy where they're trying to make us all fat, and they're coming to get us. So.
chemicals in the water that turn
Yep.
the freaking frogs.
Frogs
gay.
Yep.
But alas, this is a baseball podcast.
Baseball.
So, I guess before we get into it, I'll do the annoying shit and plug the Discord. We had a couple of people join. We need some more. Join with the link in our bio and start a conversation. Instead, I think we're going to use that for Q&A questions when we get that rolling. So get in there and also subscribe to us on YouTube. You get full video versions of every podcast on there. So it's it definitely enhances the experience. So sub to us on YouTube when you get a chance.
You will want to see the video for this video.
Yes, you will, because of what we're about to do now. A couple episodes ago, we announced our giveaway of an Adley Rutschman signed photograph, JSA certified. The entrants have slowed down, so rather than wait till opening day like we initially started, we're going to do the drawing live now on the air on the show. So we're going to do this drawing really quick, and when this episode comes out tomorrow, the winner you can expect to receive a DM from us. So without further ado, Josh, I'm going to turn it over to you since you have all the names plugged into a random name picker.
Yes, sir. Going with the share screen. Just give me a second. So all 51 names, I believe, is what we ended up with in here. There's a couple of people that unfollowed. That gets you disqualified from the giveaway. So just note for your future self, stay followed, and your retweet will go for something. But we're going to do it like they do in the baseball card breaks. We are going, if this will go away. No? Okay. Do a dice first. Roll once. 6. So we have to randomize this 6 times, and on the 6th time, that's the top name is our winner. So without further ado, 1, Joe is the winner of that one. Doesn't matter. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. All right, here's the winner. Winner of this one is our winner of the Adley Rutschman signed photo. It is Guaranteed Sports Cards. I believe they do follow us, so don't have to recheck that. But congratulations, Mr. Guaranteed Sports Cards. Wish I knew your first name, but claps all around. It's legitimate. It was on video. It's legitimate. Stop the share.
Congratulations, it's Mr. or Mrs. Guaranteed Sports Cards. And we'll hit you up tomorrow. Expect a DM from one of us. Actually, we'll probably do it from the show account to be sure that, we both follow each other and can DM. So expect a message tomorrow sometime, and we'll get your details and we'll get that sent out to you. So congratulations. And without any further ado, Brad has another giveaway item to announce.
Yes, I do have a JSA certified signed Austin Hayes bat that I have acquired within the last 2 weeks or so. That will be the next giveaway. Same concept. You'll just have to follow us and retweet, but I will take pictures and I'll shoot them out from the pod account today, after the episode tonight. So super exciting stuff.
We'll figure out when we're going to do that. We don't really need to necessarily do giveaways back to back. So just know that that's coming. Keep an eye out for it. And thanks everybody for entering. I think we had the most entrants we've had for a giveaway so far. So that's really, really good. And we hope that continues to go up. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and congrats again to the winner.
Yeah. And, future breakout star 2022, Austin Hayes bat, might want to stick around to see when that one's happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is like, we're not buying totally low on the stock, but we're buying, at the right time where we can see the potential in it. We believe in it. And now it's about to take off. So
Austin Hayes stock could not be lower. I just bought an autographed Hayes rookie card for $13.
His 9.5 Beckett certified rookie Bowman auto is going for like $25 right now. Really thought about it.
We're buying low on a guy who has pretty solid potential. So it's good timing.
It's probably too old at this point, but stonks.
Too old for a card boost, but still could be a pretty difference-making player.
Amen.
All right. So we got a little bit of news today. Spring training is rolling right along. We've seen some disappointing cuts so far. I would say the most notable would be Yusniel Diaz and Kyle Bradish. I think everybody else that's been cut has been pretty understandable for the most part. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think the only one that I could say I'm really disappointed in would be Bradish.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe they'd leave Jemai up there instead of Richie Martin, but I can kind of take it or leave it. Bradish, he's been pitching really well in spring. He did great at AAA last year. Kind of was hoping just maybe they'd let him on the roster to start the year, but it sounds like he'll be up soon enough anyway. And not going to lie, Brad's boy Bannon maybe thought he had a shot at the roster. He was playing really well in spring. They gave it to Richie Martin, probably. So. But other than that, it's been pretty expected. DL Hall, I guess, is sad, but we kind of knew that was happening.
Boy, he was throwing gas the other day, wasn't he?
100.
Hopefully only a start or two for him down in AA, and if he can dominate in AAA, maybe by late May, early June, if he proves that he can do what he's capable of in AAA, then hopefully we'll be seeing a debut by him. But Bannon and Diaz, yeah, they kind of fall in the same category for me. They both had killer springs. They both came over in the Machado trade. They both had terrible years last year, but they both showed potential going into last year. And they had injury marred season last year, and that may or may not have affected their performance. Definitely encouraging to see them come out hot this spring. We'll see if they can keep it going in AAA. And if they can, they probably won't be down for that long. Bradish, yeah, a little disappointed about him too, but hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll see him as well. So I can't say I'm totally shocked by any of them, but yeah, I would have certainly preferred to see those three on the big league opening day roster. But seeing how Elias has done things in the past, like I said, I can't say I'm shocked.
Yeah. And it is disappointing that you kind of think also some service time manipulation might be going on here with this, particularly with Adley. He should be back from his injury anytime now. But we still got no news on him. I guess the last thing we kind of heard was that he might be staying in extended spring, which could be a good or a bad thing. I think if you're looking on the positive note, it could mean that maybe they just ramp him up really quick there and then straight to the big leagues. But it could also mean that his injury is a little more serious than they let on originally. I still don't know how they're standing on Rutschman. Again, Elias has kept it pretty close to the chest on that one, but
I don't think there's any doubt that he's got to be the best catcher in the organization, right? I mean, we're all in agreement on that.
He's the best catcher in probably 25 organizations right now.
Yeah,
exactly. So, yeah, I mean, once he's healthy and we're past whatever that service clock date is, there's absolutely zero reason for him to be down in the minors.
I think it was just the perfect storm where it was like a front office wet dream where they're like, Adley's going to miss most of the spring. We can keep him down and get another year of service time. I think it just worked out perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think this was very convenient for the Orioles how this worked out because I think they would have gotten a lot of negative press for considering it's now 2022. Adley was a 4-year college player, right?
3-year.
3-year college player. Anyways, he's 22, 23 years old right now.
He is
older than that, 24,
almost
25. Almost 25. Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to keep manipulating service time. I know that was the main one that you mentioned, Ryan, but there's no reason to manipulate service time at this point with how old guys like Bannon, Diaz, and Bradish are getting either. So, I mean, let's get the ball rolling on that. But as far as Adley goes, yeah, I think that was just super convenient for the front office.
Yep.
I hate to commend the Reds, but they are starting Hunter Green at the MLB level for a start, and he's their top prospect, pretty big arm out of high school, and they aren't messing around with the service time on him. I don't know.
Well, they drafted him in 2017.
He's like younger than Adley, I believe.
Well, he's a high school player, but he could have come up last year. He was hyped up all last year too. I mean, sure, maybe they're not manipulating it this year, but they certainly were last season. So
I believe
we're doing it this year with an older
Let's not
prospect.
give the Reds any credit after they traded Jesse Winker and Eugenio Suarez for fuck all. Okay. Let's not do that.
Let me hop in here, though. I believe Hunter Green missed an entire minor league season due to Tommy John. So they could have used that as an excuse to move him along slower as well. So
maybe there's validity to it. Maybe it is an excuse, like you said. I'm just saying, I'm not giving the Cincinnati Reds a lick of credit because they are no better than we are right now.
I love how triggered everybody is by the Reds. Like, I couldn't give less of a fuck.
The Reds are the most irrelevant franchise in Major League Baseball, and that's coming from O's fans. But
on Talking Reds, they've been ripping on the Orioles the last couple of years. I've been listening into that podcast, Talking Reds, the last few years. It has about 400 followers on Twitter. Yeah, they rip on the Orioles all the time. So,
I mean, do they have a leg to stand on at all?
I'm kidding, by the way. I don't listen to any such podcast.
Okay.
I was gonna say, why are you listening to Reds podcast?
Hey, listen, I want to keep up to date with what's going on around the league. Damn it.
So
I would do that. That is something I would do, but I have not been listening to a Reds podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, they called a guy they drafted in 2017 up for the start of the season. Great. Good for them. They have nobody on their roster now but Joey Votto. So
Luis Castillo, potentially.
Wait, don't they? Wait, don't they still have Jonathan India, or did they trade him to somebody?
They have him.
They have him.
Yeah.
He'll be gone very soon though, with the track that the Reds are going down.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about Taron Vavra on AAA though?
Yes, that one excites me because we talked about this. Like, I guess it was last week or the week before. Me and Josh, we both agree he's kind of the second baseman that we want to see. So yeah, Vavra is really exciting, and I mean, if we want to just kind of jump over him for a second, Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Starting on the AAA roster. That's fantastic. I kind of thought maybe they'd keep him in AA for a little bit, but sending him right up, I think that's fantastic. That means he's right there.
Prospects of that ilk who start the season in AAA do not stay there for half the season usually.
I'd like to counter that and present you Ryan Mountcastle, who spent the entire season in AAA. Typically, you're right though.
But Gray Rod is like top 10 prospect. Mountcastle barely cracked the top 100.
Mountcastle had a little bit of a hype, but not nearly the way Grayson does.
Yeah, he's not Grayson level hype, but he was, I believe, the International League Player of the Year that year. And I think at the time he might have been our top hitting prospect. So
he was.
Yeah, I mean,
but also we were in the infancy of the rebuild at that point.
I agree.
So like, I mean, calling him up then, while he would have performed, I think at that stage of the rebuild, I was fine with like just keeping guys down, because at that point you are totally just burning years of them.
Yeah. Mountcastle would be going into his 4th season right now. So
yeah, and instead he's going into only his 2nd full season.
Yeah,
we are on the same page with that. I'm just nervous that they're still going to continue dragging their feet.
I mean, it's a valid concern, really. I mean, until we actually start to see it, it's a valid concern for sure.
Yeah.
But all we can go on really is what we hear from management when they bring them on the broadcast during these spring games. And this is the first time I've ever heard Mike be so direct about what his plans are with certain prospects. I mean, he said I think it was a Zoom call, like DL and Bradish, we expect them to spend most of this year in the majors. That's the most direct thing that he said for me that I can hear. I mean, I can be wrong. He might have said something else about somebody else, but I don't even think he's been that direct about Adley. So
or else we would have seen it by now.
Yeah, that is encouraging in my opinion, just because he's kind of starting to change his tune a little bit with how he talks to the media about these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I could watch these broadcasts that are happening, but I don't have the off-season MLB TV or Masson, so I'm just kind of stuck on an island seeing whatever clips I can.
Yeah, only one I've been able to see was the one that has been on Masson. I tried to find the game today, but I couldn't find it.
I think the Pirates broadcasted, but it wasn't free.
Yeah. So I'm still hopeful we get a little bit of a youth movement this year. I know nobody thinks that. I'm the only one that thinks that, but
no, I'm not saying I don't think it. I'm
not talking about
skeptical.
You.
Okay. Well, you said nobody, so I didn't know if you were including
exaggeration
in that based off what I just said.
No.
I am starting to get I was patient, and now I'm ready to be impatient if I have to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
I mean, 2022 will be a lot more fun than 2021, and I guess that's something to put a little stock into.
Oh yeah, I did take the over 61.5 wins, so let's go. There will be no rooting for tanking unless we're at 63, and then we could get the number 1 pick after that, but I don't want it to boil down to that.
Well, no, because there's no guarantee of that anymore.
You're right.
Draft lottery now. So hopefully that curtails a little bit of, tanking.
Yeah.
If that's the route they go. I mean, they've done some shit. I mean, look how quickly they moved some guys through the system last year. A good run of a couple weeks for pretty much everybody got them a promotion.
Right.
Yeah.
So
very aggressive with particularly Gunnar Henderson and Jordan Westford.
Extremely. I mean, Gunnar started in low A and ended in double A.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen very often, especially for a kid as young as him. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's like, what, 21 maybe?
Yeah, I don't even
22?
think he's 21 yet.
Is
He's a young
there
guy.
is there a greater than zero chance that we see Gunner on the big league roster this year?
No.
Nah, I don't see it.
Next year, perhaps. But
the only way is if he just absolutely dicks down double A pitching, then maybe. But that's the only way I can see.
Or they would have to be contending for them to for it
Yeah.
to warrant a call up.
I mean, nobody expected them to contend in 2012 either. I mean, going
Yeah.
into 2012, this is kind of what the attitude about the O's was the same as what we have right now. It's like, maybe
Yeah,
they'll be fun, but they're still gonna suck probably. And then they won 93 games.
Yeah,
and that is what caused them to call up Manny from
Right.
double A because they were
in August.
Yep.
And not even at the position that he was playing in the minors,
Mm-hmm.
which was dope, by the way.
the problem with that with Gunner is that they've added so many infield options. I just doubt that they'd like want to squeeze another one in there, even if he's killing it in the minors for a year like this.
For
but
sure.
I really hope it is like 2012, but not gonna bank on it, I guess.
No, I was just
No.
using it as an example.
Right.
I'm not saying I expect that. Just that crazy that I was just laying out like the very slim scenario in which that does happen.
That was the year that brought me to Birdland. So very thankful.
I'm very
for that.
sorry.
It's okay.
So if we're going to get technical, though, since you did lay out that scenario, Ryan, you are saying there is a greater than zero chance.
I am saying there's a greater than zero chance.
But it's very
the-
low.
I am
It's
not
very low.
the eternal negative Nancy like Josh is. So yes, there is a greater than zero chance.
You mean our playoff odds this year?
No.
Hey.
As good as those? 0.1.
I think our playoff odds are better than seeing Gunner in the.
That is actually poll worthy right there. What is there a higher chance of? Gunner debuting this year or the Orioles making the playoffs?
Yeah, you go find that prop bet for me.
All right, we'll find it.
Yeah, unfortunately that prop bet does not exist, but I wish it did. I mean, it's kind of hard to make that a prop bet because it's not likely for either of them to happen. So how would they even pay it out? I mean, neither of them are going to happen. So
Nobody gets any money.
I mean, they could make
You
odds.
just get to say, haha, I told you so.
Well, I mean, you can find odds on the Orioles making the playoffs, but they won't have odds on Gunnar Henderson getting called up.
Maybe they could calculate how close the other one was to happening at the end of the year. Like the Orioles finished 5th place with like 63 wins, but that was closer than Gunner not getting past a double A.
All right, this is a stupid conversation.
This is
We need to
stupid.
move on.
Please.
This is important stuff.
Incredibly dumb. You guys have anything else you'd like to point out about the? Actually, I do. Kyle Brnovich, making the jump to AAA is pretty interesting as well. He had a great year last year. Didn't really get talked about much with some of the other pitching prospects in the system, but I think the big number would be a 1.03 WHIP, which is outstanding. Brnovich, as anybody doesn't know, also came over part of the 4 pitchers who were acquired in the trade that sent Dylan Bundy to the LA Angels. Also came over was a friend of the show, Zach Peak. But Brnovich in AAA is very good as well. He's a kind of a dark horse guy that nobody's really talked about, but lots of good stuff as a prospect there, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that I kind of kept my eye on a bit last year and was happy to see him have success. Obviously, he's not super high rated in our prospect rankings, but it's always good to have depth. So keep on keeping on, Kyle.
Yep.
And it's not out of question that he could make an MLB debut this year or next year. I mean, he's not a highly touted prospect, but only 24 years old. If he's playing that well, I mean, he made it up to AA last year. He pitched okay there, 15 games, 4.3 ERA. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see like a late call up or even on like the taxi squad towards the end of the year.
Yep. Let's see who else here. I love the AAA outfield, man.
The infield's fun too, man.
Yeah, AAA is going to be a much more fun team to watch this year.
Oh,
Yes.
they also got my guy, Diogenes Almengo. In the
I saw
bullpen.
that.
Here we go.
Ryan, who's in that outfield? Because I didn't look that closely at it. I saw Johnny Reiser.
Diaz, Newstrom, Reiser, Stowers.
That's fun.
That's very fun.
It's very fun.
Very fun.
Actually, I just realized something. I'm looking at this roster right now,
Mhm.
and I do not see Felix Bautista. Should we take that to mean he has made the MLB opening day roster?
You know what? I did not even think about that. You're
That
right.
just popped in my head.
Now, they said they can't add players to that AAA
Okay.
roster, but
You're
the
right.
fact he's not there right now, that means they're at least giving it a thought, and that's huge.
Yes.
He's 26 years old. He has a very live arm. Use these tools while you have them.
He's an absolute freaking unit.
Absolute unit. You're not really talking about service time with him. Not at all.
Because the only reason that popped in my head is I was thinking, maybe Almengo could be the closer for the Ties. Then I was like, nah, Felix Bautista will be. And I'm looking at it like, no, he's not on there.
Yeah.
But actually, now I look at it, Vespi probably will be, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Or is GSP in there too?
Who?
Connor GSP. Did he get put in there?
Connor
Logan?
Gillespie?
Is Connor
Yeah.
Gillespie?
No, I don't see him on here.
No.
No. Okay. They added him to the 40 minutes instead of Newstrom, I believe, was his role. But
Ofelki Peralta. Up in,
Yeah. He'll start. He'll be
how
a
smooth is that infield too? Dorian, Grenier, Vavra, Jones, Bannon, all in the same infield. Mason McCoy throwing the participation.
yeah, this AAA team, there's a
Lane
couple,
Knight.
but
Lane Knight's a fun one.
this AAA team is no longer the spare parts that it usually has served as with the with the general AAA way that this team treats their AAA affiliate.
Like the Engel Vilmas of the world.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a couple, you got fucking Connor Green, Ryan Hartman.
Yeah.
But
That's what I said in our group chat.
Hartman and Uvala.
Yeah, it's pretty much a guarantee that the first three guys that are called up are going to be Connor Green, Ryan Hartman, and Cole Uvala.
Yeah.
We won't see any of the other guys for a while.
Barring any other waiver claims like they did last year.
Yeah, it's entirely possible, but whatever. We don't need to get into that.
Unforeseen circumstances.
Yep.
Chris Ellis is going to be one of the guys added to the roster.
You bet.
Ugh. Mercy.
Is Chris Ellis your new Rio Ruiz?
Chris Ellis is his new extra donut.
Yes and no. That's kind of hard. I'm not super concerned that he's going to stick around for a while. Like I was concerned about Ruiz. There's a hint of that concern there since he flukishly pitched well at the end of the year last year, but he's getting lit up in the spring. So I think that's kind of settling itself at the moment, but you never know.
I want to mention this before we move on. Brad, do you have more to say?
Well, yeah, my thing about Ruiz is a lot of people actually thought he was good, and that's why I hated him. I don't hate the guys that I knew were there and their job was to suck. I wouldn't have hated Rio Ruiz if people didn't actually think he was good.
I like the lefty bat. I forget he was on the team last year.
Yeah.
He played like 3 months in an Orioles uniform.
And my notifications blew up from the Orioles groups on Facebook anytime
when he tied his shoes. Yeah.
Tied his shoes, yes.
Heard that one.
Yeah.
I want to point out Kelvin Gutierrez is having an amazing spring.
Yeah, so Kelvin Gutierrez has a better chance of being my next Rio Ruiz.
Yeah, because people might actually start thinking he's good.
Yeah. I think Josh might be one.
That's right.
Of them.
I agree. I'm actually kind of there already with Gutierrez.
Ugh.
Just seeing him makes me upset.
What about that graphic,
okay,
Ryan?
all right.
You sent me that graphic.
I misunderstood. I thought you were saying you're already there, as in you think he's good. So that's not.
No, absolutely not. I'm there as in
you're concerned.
He's my Rio Ruiz.
Yes. Like before Rio Ruiz, there was Ryan Flaherty, the shit player that stuck around too long.
Mm-hmm.
And Rio Ruiz, not quite as long as Flaherty, but still too long for my liking. So Gutierrez could easily be the next one. Yes.
God, me and my dad hated Ryan Flaherty. So
There's no reason he should have been on a playoff contending team for 5 years. There's absolutely no reason behind that. And yet the whole fan base was like, well, I shouldn't say the whole fan base, but there were sports talk radio callers that would make outlandish takes like Flaherty's the most important player on the team because he's the backup at every position. Like, give me a fucking break. You could call up anybody from the minors that could do what he's doing.
Yeah.
But the Orioles were winning then, so I was like, all right, whatever. The scrub can sit on the bench and play once every 5 days.
Yup. And then he can talk shit to Aroldis Chapman and then strike out on like 4 pitches.
Actually, he did put that ball in play, but he grounded out, I believe.
Okay, whatever.
Yep.
Outs and outs and out. Whatever.
Yes, I agree, but he was everyone's hero for not really doing anything.
Yep.
We
Indeed.
brought
Indeed.
monkeys to spring training, bro.
Right.
That was such a weird.
It was a very
Story.
weird story. Out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. So, probably the least surprising thing that's happened this spring. John Means named the opening day starter for April 8th in Tampa.
It's awesome. I mean, it's expected, but I don't know. It's just fun to see stuff like that after the lockout and everything, just like back to business. But I tweeted this out earlier, but 2 years ago, do you guys know who our opening day starter was?
2 years ago?
2012. 2 years ago.
Tommy Malone.
Tommy Malone. Yes. Here we are.
And he got absolutely shit stomped by the Red Sox. If I remember
Yes, he did.
correctly.
Yes. I believe that game ended like 12-2 or something.
Mhm.
But then I think
7-2.
he actually had some good starts after that, and we traded him for like some low-level prospect, right?
Yeah.
I want to see who they traded. him for.
I'm going to do that right now. Keep talking. I'm going to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much commentary on John Means being named opening day starter. Headline should read clear cut number 1 earns opening day nod. So
What if they named Jordan Lyles the opening day starter?
I think you know what my reaction to that would be, but
He's never leaving.
I assume he's probably going to be the number 2 just off of seniority. So
Yeah. I
So-
mean, number 3 has become a lot less clear in the last couple of weeks.
We got Greg Cullen and AJ Graffinino.
okay.
Both are still with the org, right? Greg Cullen, I know for sure. Graffinino, I think, played today.
Yeah, I think they're both still with the organization. Yeah, it's a good trade because it was for Tommy Malone, but I don't see those guys having
A half season of Tommy Malone.
a month. It was a half season of the
A month.
60-game season.
Like, I think it was 2 starts. Let me double check that.
I think he got absolutely lit up.
Yeah, it says in this article, however these prospects turn out, the Malone acquisition did not go as planned for the Braves. The soft-tossing veteran posted a disastrous 14.9 ERA in 9 2/3 innings with Atlanta.
3 starts. Got 3 starts. Any guesses as to his ERA plus if they even have it in here? 32.
Oh my god.
He was pitching to a solid 118, 8 ERA plus at the Orioles, and then he just got shipped off to Atlanta.
Love it.
Cullen finished with a 138 weighted runs created plus in single A in 2019.
I believe he had a good Arizona Fall League year too.
He should be probably in Bowie this year, playing second. Well, he'll be playing infield for him somehow, some way, because they got Prieto, right? Who's going to be
They should have Prieto.
on the AA roster as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there should be some interesting guys there. I guess Toby Welch probably still going to be in Bowie too.
Yeah. Probably. Ooh, excuse me.
Deep cut here.
So yeah, that was fun. Actually, I like going over. Like, I can't believe they actually were able to trade him.
Dude, thinking back to the 2020 season, the things that happened that year, just in the 60-game season, were so weird. Like, Anthony Santerre was like a legitimate MVP candidate for about half a season. The Orioles were actually still within like 2 games of a wild card spot with like 20 games to go.
Yeah.
And
That
they
was
still
wild.
and they still ended up with a top 5 pick.
Yeah. I mean, they
Oh,
went
I mean-
25 and 35. It's like respectable over a
Yeah.
60-game stretch for
It's a better winning percentage than we have in a usual year.
So
Yeah,
that was
totally.
actually a pretty solid, all we could have asked for out of that year, because we got some entertainment playing some actually somewhat meaningful games with about 20 games to go, and then we still got Colton Cowser out of it anyway. So
Mountcastle popped off rookie season.
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, it was fun. We started the year with like Dwight Smith Jr.
Yeah. Robin Hood, Pat Valleca.
Fuck Pat Valleca.
Atlanta Braves, speaking of which.
Yeah, good.
claimed
They
him
can
on
have him.
waivers.
They can have him. If he needs it, I'll help drive him down there. I'll pay for his flight to Atlanta.
He probably doesn't need it. He probably has a means of transportation.
Thanks, Brad. Thank you.
He has agents that do that for him.
Yep. You guys are annoying. Josh, you want to lead us into our last little bullet point here?
I can, yes. So rotation, as I said a few minutes ago, has gotten pretty murky outside of John Means for number 1 and probably Lyles for number 2. But 3, 4, 5 is kind of up in the air, and there has been some talks of Tyler Wells coming into the starting rotation.
Oh, it's not talks. They confirmed today he's
Yeah.
going to be in the
They confirmed for
rotation.
sure today that's happening? Okay, well, he pitched 3 innings of 1-run ball today. He has not started since his minor league season before the Tommy John surgery with the Twins minor league team back in 2019. I'm going to ask you guys for opinions first because I am honestly not sure how to feel about this yet.
I'm not quite sure how to feel about it either, but somebody said something today on social media along the lines of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it with Tyler Wells. But the way I see it from another perspective is the rotation is broke, and it's easier to find a reliever that can be successful than it is to find starters who can be successful. So you may as well give it a shot. And if he doesn't pan out, you can just move him back to the bullpen. So sure, what the heck? Give it a shot.
I am with Brad 100% because when they took Tyler Wells in the Rule 5 draft, he was a starting pitcher. And they put him in the bullpen because he was a Rule 5 guy and he had to stay on the roster. And they didn't really have a place in the rotation to put him, even though they probably should have been able
They
to
could
find
have.
him.
They could have found one.
So after his first year here, and he settled in, why not get him back into starting like he was? I mean, it's not like he's been a career reliever and all of a sudden they're going, hey, you should start games for us now. It's what he was doing. They put him in the bullpen to keep him on the roster, get him back to what he's comfortable doing. I'm with it. I'm with it 100%. I love the kid stuff.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
Sorry,
definitely
go
the upside of it. I mean, it's really genius, actually. You take a Rule 5 pick as who's a pitcher, and maybe you see just to keep him on the roster, put him in the bullpen. But the next year, you don't have to give him back if you want to option him to the minors. So you might as well try him in the starting rotation, which is what he was comfortable doing, and just see what you got. If it doesn't work, just throw him back in the pen. It's not a
And
big
then
deal.
as guys start to come up, if you still want to keep him around, again, throw him back in the pen. If you don't really want to hold him onto him anymore, you can option him, like you just said. I mean, you really have a lot of options with him now, and he's become quite a versatile arm to keep on the team. So yeah, I'm for it. I mean, at least they're trying something out. Like, it's better than saying, here's your rotation spot back, Jorge Lopez. Like it's
Chris Ellis.
something, man. It's something to watch for. It's fine. I'm happy about it, actually.
Yeah, and they left a lot of longer leaf guys on the roster too. It looks like Keegan Aiken and Bauman are probably going to be up there as well as Jorge Lopez, who they're going to try to stretch out this spring. I think between all those guys, you have a really good amount of damage control if it doesn't work out, and you can try other guys in that same role. They're going to try Tyler Wells in, but I mean, yeah, like I agree with you what you guys are saying.
Yeah, I still want to see starts out of guys like Bauman, Lowther, and guys in Zimmerman, guys like that are up on the big league roster. But Tyler Wells has earned a shot to be a guy that's worth evaluating. So yeah, it's a no-brainer decision.
So I guess now that it's coming into shape, now we could kind of project. This is what I think now. Like, I know we kind of did this last week, but revision now, I'm gonna say Means, Lyles, Zimmerman, Kramer, Wells, or Wells, Kramer.
Yeah,
I think Kramer probably gets that nod. He's had a pretty good spring. People keep saying he got lit up, and then I look at his stat line and he gave up a home run. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I saw that too. I looked back. He had 2 earned runs over 4 innings, and I was like, that's a typical Dean Kramer start. that's
a
better
good start.
than
That's a good start from any pitcher.
yeah, that's better than a Dean Kramer start from last year. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you.
He's looked in the times that I've seen him pitch and seen some clips of him. His stuff looks better than it did last year. But I never think stuff was the issue with Kramer last year. I think it was all between the ears. And if he's had an off season to work on it, and he could get a nice confidence boost from his spring, I still think we can expect good things out of Dean Kramer.
Yeah, I mean, one of my bigger asks this year from the front office is to kind of let guys be comfortable with their roles, because last year we had the revolving door of the rotation and the bullpen. We have a lot of starters. That is a problem with the roster, but I mean, it's not like any of them are sticking. But guys need to get comfortable. Like you said, it could have been between the ears with Kramer. He was going up and down from Norfolk to the MLB. He was in the pen. He was in the rotation. I can't imagine it's easy to succeed under those kind of circumstances when they're so routine based.
I still maintain that's what ruined Kevin Gausman.
Yeah.
Good
probably
God,
a fair point.
There was a year he got optioned, I think, like 10 or more times. It had to be somewhere close to that. If it wasn't, someone can correct me. But I mean, it was like they'd call him up, he'd start, he'd be back down before he even got his uniform off. And I see no way that that's good for anybody. So. Yeah, like you're saying, let guys get comfortable. Let them get comfortable. Let them carve out their own niche for themselves, as opposed to forcing it upon them.
Yeah, I think Kramer probably has a higher ceiling. If things don't work out with him, I think Zach Lowther or Mike Baumann will be the next in line. So
yeah.
Hoping
Keegan Aiken gets phased out soon. Aiken and Lowther are kind of both in the same, cliche soft tossing lefty thing, but it looks like Lowther just has a little bit better command over it. Lowther seems to be the one that can pitch like a soft tossing lefty. Aiken is like I don't throw hard, and here's a straight fastball down the middle. Try and hit it. Oh, you hit it. Okay. And repeat over and over and over again.
His breaking stuff just is very flat. And I think Lowther has a very good curveball from what I remember. Mm-hmm. Could be wrong about that, but his breaking stuff is a little bit more advanced than Aiken's. But I think all those guys turned in a pretty good start at the end of the year. I believe Alexander Wells went like 5 innings scoreless. Lowther had a similar start. Aiken put together those 3 good starts at the end. They got comfortable. So what could happen?
Amazing. Go back to that. Yeah.
Yeah, if you give them more of an extended look, they're less likely to press. If you're going out to the mound and your mindset is, I got to pitch well, otherwise this is my one shot, I'm getting sent back to AAA, that makes it a little bit harder to succeed. So,
and to Dean Kramer's credit, every time he came up, it seemed like he pitched against the Yankees, who are maybe not so much last year as in the previous year, but one of the best lineups in baseball, one of the best lineups in the AL. And he got rightfully lit up a few times. And I guess the ERA is a little inflated. If you looked at like the difficulty of the starts he had to go through last year, it's probably a lot higher than the average. A lot of AL East starts, and yeah, it's a tough division. Everyone's got to pitch against them on the Orioles, but for a guy who's just trying to break in the league and get a little consistent, understandable why he would be a bit sluggish to start.
100% agree with you, man. 100% agree.
I think he was just screwed up between the ears. He probably would not have pitched well against anybody last year, but that doesn't mean. He's obviously got the stuff, so he deserves another shot.
This Absolutely. Is officially a Dean Kramer pulling pod.
Yes, we had our thing in the group chat about everyone has a guy except for me. Like Josh loves Ryan. And by a guy we mean a shitty player that we like a lot for some reason. And for me, Brad loves Rylan Bannon, which jury's still out. I don't know if you could call him a shitty player, even though he did have a really bad year. Josh, your player is really shitty. Ryan McKenna sucks.
Now, why does Ryan McKenna get different rules than Rylan Bannon? He's younger than Rylan Bannon. And Ryan McKenna played in the major leagues last year.
He shouldn't have. He shouldn't have. Okay.
Ryan McKenna slugged in AAA. Rylan Bannon did not slug in AAA. I'm just defending my guy. Case closed, Brad.
Ryland Bannon for a 10-day stretch last year was the hottest hitter in all
It was
of baseball.
prime Pujols.
At any level. At any level. Not just AAA. And he was injured early on in the year. That's why he sucked. That's his excuse. He's not the one making it. He doesn't make excuses. I make excuses for him. Bannon for MLB 2022.
There you go. So yeah, Josh said that I needed to have a guy. So my guy is Dean Kramer. This comes from the fact that me and Brad were both originally very excited about the Manny trade. Just looking at the stock of some of the guys that we got, and Brad and I both kind of fell in love with Kramer when he first came over. We would like specifically go to Bowie on days that Kramer was starting. I think you and me went to like at least 2 or 3 of his starts there.
Yeah.
And it was fun to watch. He was pitching great. And so I kind of just had that connection from him when he first came over. So yeah, Dean Kramer, my guy.
We're not ready to give up on that Machado trade just yet. There's a little bit of life yet. A little bit of life left.
What do you think Bravich Valera is up to these days?
Did you say Bravich?
Is it Bravik? Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't watch a lot of broadcasts when he was an Oriole.
I don't know. Last I heard from him, he was a Blue Jay, but I don't think he's there anymore.
He works at I think he works at Tim Hortons now.
He gave you the extra donut.
Well, no, that was Duncan, so he's clear on that.
He played for Toronto last year. It says he's still around. I think he's a free agent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at this point, like it may have been trading Manny Machado, but it was trading 6 months of Manny Machado. So
Yeah.
like we
You
have
can't
to
lose.
keep that in perspective when we talk about the return. Yes, the quality of player was very high, and Manny was in the midst of a career year. He was basically the only bright spot on that 2018 team because that 2018 was hot dog shit, even though they went for it to start the year. So like at this point, we're fucking 4 years on already. If we get one player that makes any kind of contribution to the big league team, you could call it a win. Just because you're looking purely at what the Dodgers got for Manny compared to what we'll get for the guys that they gave us for it.
I mean, I call it a win already because the Dodgers, 1, didn't win the World Series. 2, if the Orioles kept Manny, they wouldn't have won anything.
No.
So, I mean, it's kind of already a win because the desired goal was not
And
achieved.
actually, if I remember correctly, Manny struck out for the final out of the World Series.
I believe so. Yes.
That's right. Though I will say, although we are still hanging on to some hope that some of those guys produce, Elias could not give less of a fuck because that was not his trade.
Yeah.
It was against
Probably.
his team in 2017.
They are absolutely on their own in
28.
terms of having to prove it, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it might make them perform a little better.
Yeah.
Knowing that they get no favorable treatment from management like some other guys will, so that they got to work extra hard for it.
Yep.
Yeah. I misspoke horribly. I said Machado played against Elias's team in 2017. That wasn't the World Series. It was Boston.
It's okay. We forgive you.
Thank you.
Also, it was 2018, not 2017, because
I know that's where I misspoke. Yeah. Yep.
It's okay. It's okay. We know you're dumb, Josh. It's fine.
Thank you.
All right. You guys got anything else to add?
Cionel Perez, Orioles bullpen. It's happening opening day.
I don't know anything about him, but I heard he was throwing gas. So yeah, let's do it.
He had 4 of the top 5 hardest pitches today.
Where did we get him from?
Houston. He was an Elias guy.
Color
Hold
me
up.
absolutely shocked.
No.
I am going to make my call on him shortly here. Let's see. No, he's trash. He's trash.
Hey, what happened to Shed Long?
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen anything from him this
I haven't even seen him. I think he
I
played in
didn't
like one of the first games
I didn't even think of that. That's weird. He must have got hurt.
because he's not on the Norfolk roster. He's not going to be on the Bowie roster. Maybe they just released him.
I don't think so. Let's see. Pull up his Wikipedia here. See if it still says he's on the Orioles.
Because I don't think they added him to the 40-man.
It says that he is still in the Orioles
That might-
organization.
They probably make all of those decisions when they compile the opening day roster. So I don't think it means anything yet.
I suppose.
Yeah.
And he probably hasn't gotten much of a look in camp because he spent most of last year in the majors.
Oh, he is rehabbing from injury, as well as Isaac Matson.
There you go.
There we go.
Yep.
But basically, no, I have nothing else to add to this podcast today.
All right. Brad, how about you, bud?
Nothing else to add. Just glad I'm not having another donut added to my plate. So
Another Chris Ellis in the bag.
yes, exactly. That's what that second donut was to me. Chris Ellis.
First donut was Jordan Lyles. Second donut was Chris.
No, the first
The
first donut was
donut
Rylan Bannon because he
First
wanted
donut
it.
was by choice. I was pretty cool with the first donut. That
I
was
think
yeah,
Rylan
that was-
Bannon's the coffee, if anything.
You know what? That's my homework. Next week, I will have an answer for which one was the coffee and which one was the first donut. But Chris Ellis was the second donut.
Yeah. For
What do you think Chris Ellis's favorite fast food chain is?
Roy Rogers.
Where's
Are
he
you talking
from?
shit about Roy's, my dude?
It's just there's not that many of them. I don't know.
Okay, with the added
so
information
good,
that
though.
he's from Alabama, does that change anything for him?
His favorite fast food restaurant is his sister.
Ooh, got him.
A gross stereotype.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've had Roy Rogers, so I'm not really hating on it. It's just
Dude,
there's
it's
not that many.
so good.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Raising Cane's chicken is the best.
Dude, yes, Josh, I was about to bring that up. Raising Cane's, they don't have that around here, but they have that
No.
up your way.
They're
That's
all
fucking
over
dank.
here, man.
Yep.
Man, when you
Last
come up
time-
next time, that's where we're going. We're not going to a sports bar. We'll just go get drinks at the sports bar. We'll just me and you, Canes.
That's fine. I'm
Brian
familiar
can
with
go find his Roy Rogers and go
I
shuck
still
around
want to
the
go to
weeds.
Canes.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Let's go.
I'm familiar. When I've been up to Ohio, I've been to Raising Cane's. So
It's about
It's
the
such
only
a
reason I've
weird-
ever wanted to go to Ohio is for that.
Understandable. It's such a weird like location thing for them because they have none in Michigan. They have like a few in Ohio, like around Columbus and Cleveland. There's none in Pennsylvania, but East Coast had a few by like New York, I think, if anything, but not very many there. But the South is full of them. But like for whatever reason, the Midwest has them, but the East Coast doesn't.
yeah. So the last time I visited KU's campus, 2018, there was a Raising Cane's in town, and there was not when I went to school there. So that was kind of a surprise for me.
Very nice. They're Louisiana based, but I think they're moving around. Anyway, this has been a Orioles podcast.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks again for listening. Coming at you again next week. Yeah, that's about it. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for listening. Catch you later.
Congrats to Guaranteed Sports Cards on winning.
Yes, we'll be in touch tomorrow.
Cheers.